Greetings, this is John Weigand. I'm professor of clarinet at WVU, and we're in the WVU practice facility in the Hall of Traditions. This is an awesome place, especially if you're a basketball fan. This video is designed for music educators who may not be experts in clarinet, and it's designed for clarinet students who don't have ready access to a private teacher. Today's talk is going to be about the instrument, which includes everything we see here. First of all, the part of the instrument that we call the instrument with the keys, it really needs to be in perfect working order. It can be plastic, it can be wood, whatever, but as long as all the holes cover. And a good way to tell if the instrument's in working condition is called the suction test. We do one joint at a time. Put your fingers over the hole. Put the fleshy part of your thumb over the bottom of the bore and suck in. And it should hold the suction for several seconds. Then you pull your hand off and you get a popping sound. This instrument is in real good shape. Same thing with the bottom half. Fleshy part of the finger. Put the low E key down. And we've got our suction, we're good. If it does those two things, then your instrument is in good working order. Just the tiniest little leak. I'm going to play a note, and I'm going to leak this left index finger just the tiniest little bit, and you'll see what happens. It takes from a good sound to no sound with just an almost invisible leak. So it's really, really important that everything is totally solid and totally sealing correctly. Big Roman numeral 2 is the mouthpiece. After you assume that the clarinet works, the next most critical thing is the mouthpiece itself. There's two basic types of mouthpieces. There's a student mouthpiece, which is made of plastic, and the hard rubber mouthpiece, which is for pros and more advanced players. There is a really excellent, inexpensive plastic mouthpiece on the market now. It's by Clark Phobes, F-O-B-E-S, and it's called a Debut. Clark Phobes Debut. I believe it's under 40 bucks, and you could put the entire high school or junior high clarinet section on this mouthpiece, and you'd be way better off. I could play a concert on one of those tonight. It wouldn't sound quite as good as what I'm playing, but it's totally comfortable, totally dependable, really durable. You can even drop them and most of the time not hurt them, and they're inexpensive, they're super. If you want to take a step up into a rubber mouthpiece, there's several good options. My favorite one is by Diodario. That company used to be Rico, but they're changing the names for their professional line. It's called a Reserve, Diodario Reserve, and they have different models. I like either the X5 or the XO, X5 or XO. Either one of those work. Once again, I could play a concert on one of those tonight. It wouldn't be quite as good as what I'm playing. It would be a little bit better than the plastic one. But if you're a more serious student, maybe higher up in Allstate, maybe thinking about playing after high school, you really want to get on one of the rubber mouthpieces and check that out. Try different ones, see what works for you, but those are my suggestions. As far as reeds go, I don't want to get into brands because that's too specific, but I want to give you a couple of tests, things to think about when you're evaluating a reed for yourself or for your students. There's three things that a reed needs to have. It needs to be free enough, soft enough to respond easily. It needs to have enough resistance to blow against so it doesn't lose focus, and it needs to be resonant. So let me demonstrate those three things. To tell if it's soft enough, in other words, this is a test to see if it is not too hard. You should be able to play an open G, stepwise down to a low C, really, really softly, and have the sound still be clear. And if it's clear, then that reed is not too hard for me. If it sounds like when you try to play softly, then it's too hard. To tell if the reed is too soft, start with G on top of the staff, go stepwise up to high D, play as loud as you can. Don't try to make a beautiful sound, just blow like crazy. And you can feel whether the reed has enough strength to hold the air that you need for loud playing. If it does that, then the reed has enough resistance for you to blow against. If it spreads and gets all wild and out of focus, then the reed's not hard enough for you. So those two tests are super important. The third thing isn't really a test, it's just a consideration. You want to make sure that the reed has enough resonance, good buzz, I guess you could call it, to make a characteristic sound. You don't want something that's all fuzzy like that. You also don't want something that's really bright and buzzy, but just that has enough resonance to sound good and passes those other two tests. One more word about reeds. I see this all the time. Students will play one reed until it dies. Then they'll play another reed until it dies, and so forth. It's way better to have several reeds, 3 or 4, rotate them around. I have a reed case, I don't see it here, but it holds 8 reeds. And of course, I'm playing more than most of the high school students, but I'll rotate those 8 reeds around. Generally, I don't play a reed more than about 30 or 40 minutes of continuous playing. Now, a rehearsal is not continuous playing, so I can go an hour and a half in there because you're only playing part of the time. Then after that, I'll try another reed, another reed, another reed. And during the course of a day, I won't play any reed more than 30 or 40 minutes. Another thing that helps a lot is breaking in your reeds gradually. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but you take one out of the box, plays pretty well. After about 5 minutes, it seems to die. What's actually happening is the reed is absorbing too much moisture. It's getting waterlogged, so you've already played it too long. I tell my students on the first day, play the reed 1 minute. Second day, 2 minutes. Third day, 4 minutes. Next day, 8 minutes. Next day, 16 minutes. And when you get to 32 minutes, that's all you're supposed to be playing it anyway. Sometimes it's good for a reed to skip a day, give it a day off, just like, we like a weekend to sort of rejuvenate. Reeds like that too. Day off is never a bad thing. But rotate your reeds around, make sure that they all pass both of those tests, and you want to be good to go. Thank you very much.